I'm Chet Sterling. This is what it's all about.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome their opponents tonight. The tag team of Robyn, Tyrone, Golphin, Smoove Lee, and Andrew Everett Cross.
And there is the bell for our next contest, six-man tag team action. This is Cecil Scott alongside the one and only Nick D. And Nick D, this six-man tag, more than anything else, boldly personifies the youth movement of CWF Mid-Atlantic. You have the new aftermath, Ben Tyler, Chet Sterling, and their leader, Trevor Lee, against Chris Lee, Robyn Golphin, and the newly minted Andrew Cross.
It started madness in any direction. It's now going to a time in high tension tonight. Cecil, it's safe to say this is not business. This is actually personal tonight.
It's definitely personal. Trevor Lee, in so many words, stole the identity of Chiva Kid, now Andrew Cross. He's made this kid have to start from scratch. A whole new persona, a whole new identity. And Trevor Lee, you saw him come out with the Chiva Kid mask. It's actually on the ring post in their corner.
You've also got the historic history between Chris Lee and Ben Tyler, who's gone at it several months for that coveted RGL title. And then you've got Chet Sterling and Robyn Tyrone Golphin in the match. It should be a good matchup tonight.
Oh, very good match. You don't see Robyn Tyrone Golphin RTG every show. We usually see him with his partner Terrell Gibbons. Chet Sterling, actually, looking at Chet, looks like he's been hitting the weights, hitting the gym here lately.
You know, when you got a guy like Chet Sterling, and now that you've got this new, as we say, the new aftermath, you really don't have a choice. Chet Sterling knows in the back of his mind that he's got to be able to hold his weight. It's no more Ric Converse. It's no more X Cyrus. It's only Ben Tyler, Trevor Lee, and now Chet Sterling.
Right, and in a certain way, they're kind of all equals, but Trevor Lee would never admit that. I mean, these are all three younger guys, and they don't have to live up to a lofty expectation of a William Cross or a Ric Converse.
As you mentioned before, it's definitely the new youth movement here in the CWF. It's no mistaking about it. You've got Chris Lee, the self-professed Rookie of the Year.
Right,
you know.
Chet Sterling, who also professes to be Rookie of the Year.
the best ever Ben Tyler, Trevor Lee. I mean, the CWF is safe to say is definitely headed into a bright future here with these young talent here in the CWF.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we could not ask for a better crop of young wrestlers that we have right now. Of course, Andrew Cross getting national attention. Recently came off of a couple of shows with CZW. Competed in the Best of the Best tournament. Made a good showing for himself. And getting the better of Ben Tyler right now, kind of got a foot up on him.
You know, it's kind of interesting. You've got several different dynamics, but you've got to give it. I mean, you have to give props to Andrew Cross. I mean, he's traveled doing different shows and for CCW and things like that. He's actually, in my opinion, the poster child of the CWF, and I think to that degree, you have a guy like Trevor Lee who's somewhat jealous of that.
I'd say he's very jealous, man. Andrew Cross, beautiful drop kick. Whether he asked for it or not, he's kind of become the de facto face of the promotion just because he's getting the most attention. Oh, and the way Trevor Lee looks at it, he's like, hey, I was in that match in Philadelphia too. How come nobody's talking about me?
Well, you gotta look at it like it's almost like high school.
Right.
You know, you've got the jocks that, you know, the guys that are the so-called big athletes. You know, they kind of get all the girls and things like that. And then you've always got that one kid that's not necessarily a jock, but is able to stand out his own. And sometimes the jocks have a problem with that. And in this case, you've got the aftermath who are quite frankly knowing that they feel as though they are the big dogs now here in CWF. And you got a guy like Andrew Cross that says, wait a second, big boy, I think I'm here to be able to play as well.
Right, he's doing it on his own. That's the difference. And it's some very fast-paced action here. I don't think this thing's going to slow down for a second. Went for a jumping sidekick, and Ben Tyler very wisely makes a tag to Chet Sterling. And this is another rivalry. Chet Sterling and Chris Lee. They've been competing to see who's the best rookie in CWF Mid-Atlantic. They did battle back at Ultimate Survivor, if I recall, in the RGL tournament.
You know, I've actually got a chance to see these two work together, you know, against each other in several different capacities. You know, you have that dynamic. Two rookie guys who came in at the same time who both feel, hey, the two young lions, only one can be the self-professed rookie of the CWF.
Right. They all feel like there's only so much of the pie to go around, and they both want it. Beautiful arm drag off the top. Chase Manny Guerrero in a nice arm drag. Beautiful, beautiful Ricky Steamboat arm drags. Chris Lee, I'm sorry to cut you off, but he's a guy who's come so far in just a short amount of time.
I mean, you've got a guy who came from 102 Jams, it's the hip-hop station here in Greensboro. Now it's the traffic anchor in the evenings for WXI. So, in so many words, Chris Lee, it's almost like, what can he not do?
Right.
He's done it. If you name it, he's probably done it. From radio to television.
Running a nightclub. And
now to professional wrestler. He's got a lot on his plate, but you know what? I've got to hand it to Chris Lee. He's able to hold it in strides.
You know what he doesn't have on his plate? Sleep.
I mean, when you got a guy like him, 24/7, 365, that's all you know.
But he doesn't take any shortcuts. Oh, nice elbow right to the chops. No shortcuts. He does everything under the 10%. And that elbow only stunned him for a second. Right back up on Trevor Lee, who is the most experienced member of this Aftermath team.
You know, Trevor Lee has been wrestling since the age of 16.
Yep.
Where most of these guys normally come in to around 18, 19 years old. He started at the young age of 16. I actually got a chance to see some of the old footage of Trevor Lee, and you could tell back then, as the term is, that, you know, most people have that star in their eye. I saw in those previous footage archives, thinking the CWF archives, he had that star in his eye that you knew Trevor Lee was desperate for success.
He always had it. He's a second-generation guy, and the funny thing about it is, in North Carolina, you're actually not supposed to be able to train to wrestle until you're 18. He wrestled under a mask for the first 2 years of his career for that very reason. And on topic here, Chris Lee has all of a sudden found himself in the wrong part of town.
Well, that's the thing when you got a team like the Aftermath. You know, that you've never, to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we've never actually seen a team like Andrew Cross, RTG, and Chris Lee team together. Well, you've got a team like the Aftermath who's teamed together several times in so many different capacities. You kind of have a somewhat of a cohesiveness together.
Right. You know, I always say a great team will beat a bunch of great individuals. We got kind of a cobbled together team from Andrew Cross. Great individuals, but can they beat a well-oiled machine? And Chris Lee going to see if he can't get that done.
It looks like Chris Lee was trying to set up for soul food at one time. That's the patented finishing move of Chris Lee.
Oh, beautiful side kick. And Chet Sterling's wrestled Chris Lee enough where he knows that soul food was coming.
I mean, it's been to me, in my opinion, I've seen it. You know, they've battled in different areas. Those two I could say have traveled the Carolinas going head-to-head, one-on-one against each other.
Right, and I think it's a rivalry we're going to see for many years to come. And we have RTG, who just got blindsided by Ben Tyler. RTG, by far the smallest man in this match. Probably got the most heart, though.
You know, RTG reminds me a lot of a young Rey Mysterio. He's small in stature, but he has the heart of a lion.
He does, and Chris Lee just took a nasty spill thanks to Trevor Lee. And they have just isolated, well, maybe not. RTG gonna try to fight 2-on-1 here. Blockbuster out of the corner by Chet Sterling. Beautiful.
It looks like we've got Ben Tyler and Chris Lee going head-to-head. We also know that story between those two over the RGL title.
Oh.
Kick to the face by Trevor Lee. Taking out Chris Lee.
Oh,
super kick by Ben Tyler on the floor to Andrew Cross.
And what the Aftermath have done here, they have effectively split the numbers. And now it's pose time.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I said that before. I said it again. We thought the Fun Athletic guys with Chet Sterling was over. It's safe to say, Cecil, I think they're only just beginning.
Oh, yeah. And now they feel like they got the world in their hands. You know, they're not answering to Ric Converse. They're not answering to William Cross. So they feel like big shots.
You know, Trevor Lee made the statement by attacking X-Cyrus to let him know that there's only one leader of the Aftermath, and that guy is Trevor Lee.
Right. What a unusual turn of events that was at Madison. Oh, my God. Andrew Cross is livid. I think if he got alone with the Aftermath, he may attempt to take their life right now. He was another victim of the Aftermath, just like X-Cyrus and Ric Converse were at Madness in any direction.
But what we're failing the document here is Andrew Cross is the son of William Cross.
Right.
And just like anybody, if you see your dad getting beat up by a bunch of guys that you don't think deserve it, you're actually going to come to the defense of your father.
Right, and it's not like, you know, for many years, Chiva Kid or Andrew Cross didn't necessarily agree with what his dad was doing out here, but at the end of the day, it's something I can very personally relate to. At the end of the day, your dad is your dad, no matter what kind of beef you got.
And that's the point, Cecil, where things become personal. When you cross the line and you affect someone's family, it doesn't matter if it's your brother, your sister, when you affect someone's family, it then becomes the fun of having fun and entertaining people to becoming personal. And when it becomes personal, that's when things start to kick up another notch.
And RTG is just taking a pounding, and Chris Lee's had enough. But he better be careful because he's doing more harm than good right now. Robyn Golphin just took 3. Well, maybe not. Trevor Lee's going to pose instead of doing a move here.
You've got to hit, like I said, somebody like Trevor is one of those guys that you have to watch. He's got that arrogant, cocky attitude. To him, in his eyes, he can do no wrong. He's almost like a magician in the ring.
He's such a great wrestler, but he's got that only child syndrome where he thinks it's all about him. And headbutt to the face. RTG's not going to stop fighting, but Trevor Lee, he's such a great wrestler, but once he starts getting up on a guy, once he's in control, he gets so arrogant, and sometimes he loses focus.
It's almost like as we say, the arrogant syndrome in professional sports. You've got a guy who knows that he's good, but he's too good. He's too good for his own good.
You know who I compare him to? Floyd Mayweather. He's somebody who's so talented. He's so good, and it makes you just want to see him get his mouth punched, you know? You want to see him get his butt kicked just because he is so good and he knows it. But sometimes being really good is a detriment because you think nobody can beat you.
Definitely. And you've got a guy like RTG, they're actually keeping him grounded, not being able to make a tag. You know, that in so many ways, that could go to a play against the Aftermath, being able to keep him grounded, not being able to make that tag to Chris Lee or Andrew Cross. When you keep a guy in the ring for so long, you start to get tired. Fatigue starts to set in. But the crowd is starting to get behind RTG right now. Hopefully, he can use that to his advantage and being able to get that first tag in.
Right, and you take enough punishment in these tag team matches, and at least they're making some mistakes. You know, you want to use your energy to try to make that tag, but some guys will want to try to nail one big move out of desperation. And RTG gets the elbow, gets a boot on Ben Tyler, dumps Trevor Lee. Now's his chance to make that tag, but here's what I'm talking about. He'd let Chet Sterling close in on him. Meeting of the heads there.
It's almost like a situation where because he's a young guy, he's still got that young determination, that resilience, that heart, that it comes to backfire.
Here's the tag.
And he tags in Andrew Cross, and he goes right. Oh my gosh!
And you notice Trevor Lee got the hell out of there. Big kick on Ben Tyler. Ducks it from Chet Sterling, flying forearm.
Andrew Cross is using the crowd to actually get motivated to take out the Aftermath.
It's so weird seeing his face out there in the ring to me. But he is cleaning house here. Falcon Arrow. Watch out for Trevor Lee from behind. Duck. Oh.
We've got actually accidental by Ben Tyler on Trevor Lee.
He got him with the enziguri to the back of the head. He's gonna fly. Crowd's scattering here. I gotta stand up. Chet Sterling distracted him. Low blow by Ben Tyler on Chris Lee.
Roll up, kick to the face by Andrew Cross.
Oh, Pele caught him right in the mouth. Oh, Chet Sterling. Oh! Flip dive to the outside. I'd say Chet Sterling's cleared out of this match now. Springboard, drop kick.
He's actually got the crowd standing to their feet for Andrew Cross right now.
And I wondered if the fans would take to him without the Chiva mask. I think those questions have been answered. He has effectively split the numbers here against the Aftermath. Oh, what happened?
He actually ended up hitting Chris Lee. That's why, again, a veteran move by Trevor Lee was able to get out the way, and actually Andrew Cross ended up hitting.
Oh, yeah, he caught his own partner. RTG went for that big punch. Oh, RTG, German.
The winner, the Aftermath.
Man, I'm surprised Ray let that go. RTG was not the legal man.